put the on me.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, December 8th, 2022. I said November 8th. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's a brand new clip that came out, and this time Kody Brown has lost it. Now he's using the same tactics that he used on Christine on Janelle, and he gets really aggressive. I was like, whoa, Kody, slow down here. There's been a couple clips that came out. I don't know if I'm going to get to both today because I just can't think about it. Oh my goodness. But I'm like, Kody Brown is showing the world who he is, and it's ugly. And if this is for cameras, I would hate to see what he's like when he's not on film. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, over on my Instagram and Facebook, I've been covering the story of a FLDS breakout group run by a guy named Samuel Bateman, and this huge story that's been going on. And I've got a huge group of ex-FLDS people that have been helping me spread the story and what's been going on in their community. He claimed to have 20 wives. So if you haven't followed me over on Facebook and Instagram, go jump on over there if you want to know the latest. I'm debating on doing a video on it, but it's pretty concerning content, so I'm not sure if I'll bring it to YouTube. Let's talk about this newest clip from Sister Wives that was just put out today, and it's more of the fire argument between Kody and Janelle. So before we dive into this topic, can you do me a big favor and give the video a thumbs up? Also, please consider subscribing to my channel if you have not yet subscribed. And make sure to click the bell so you get notified of any new content that loads. And also leave some comments if you have something to say. This clip actually starts with Kody screaming. I'm kind of dumbfounded how much he has yelled this season, and he wants us to think that he's the one that's being victimized by Christine. I mean, seriously, this is how he treats people. And he's yelling at Janelle for everything to do with the protocol that he keeps claiming is the reason why the family is broken.
You're acting like you're not even culpable in this situation. The things you should do. You actually belittle the stuff I was doing.
Do you remember how last season Kody was like all about how Garrison and Gabriel weren't following his rules, and he was like telling Janelle that she needed to kick out her sons who were in school, mind you, in the middle of a pandemic because they weren't following his rules, and it was preventing him from going over to her house because they weren't following the rules. And how she said that she couldn't kick them out in the middle of the situation. Housing in that area during that time was hard to come by, and Kody was being really obstinate, and she was like, if I'm gonna have to choose between you, I'm gonna pick my kids. And so he's trying to say that she's culpable for disrespecting his rules. I don't understand why a husband in 2022 creates rules for a house to follow, right? For a family to follow, and then calls it disrespectful if someone doesn't follow the rules. A wife, an adult. So I created these rules and you didn't follow them, so that's disrespectful. She's not your servant. She's not your property. She's not your child. She's not really anything. She's supposedly your wife, even though you're not married. So he's mad and trying to get her to take blame for not following his protocol. And she's like, you asked me to choose between the boys or my kids and you, and what am I going to do? And Kody just wants to try to find a way to make this her fault. I mean, did families have struggles during this period and finding agreements on how they were going to handle the pandemic? Absolutely. My family was extremely, extremely cautious because of my son. But I didn't expect other people to adhere to rules under the guise of like, we just quarantined at home and we stayed home and we didn't go anywhere. That was it. But Kody expected everyone in his orbit to follow his rules. It's ridiculous if you think about it. And then to blame her and try to make her take responsibility for something, for disrespecting him. What a sexist. So remember how Kody wouldn't let anyone see each other? And then, like, Miss Christine was like, what does the nanny do? Because they were allowing the nanny to come over to their house like every single day. And she was going in and out of the house, and she was seemingly married and had, you know, outside influences in her life. And somehow Kody was okay with the nanny coming over, mind you, but it wasn't okay for like Isabel to go see her siblings, or Kody's sons to go see his siblings or their siblings, nothing. And so then remember how Kody and Robyn created these like lists that were like a page long of all the things that they had to do, and they had to like wipe down mail and put things into plastic bags and wash their clothes and all of these like really details. And it was like a laminated piece of paper. Do you remember that? That was like after Christine confronted him, because they were never told what they were doing that would get them to see each other. They never had a conversation about what needed to be done. It was only that Kody got to decide who saw who, and he was only going to go in between houses and no one else was going to go anywhere. That was the rule. But Kody was stupid because the virus could have spread from him from house to house to house. Point blank. If he would have got it at one house, he could have brought it to another house. Any movement, regardless of who it was, would have had this virus spread. If he noted how Brianna brought it home from school and it went through the whole house, right? And then Janelle's explaining this to him and he's like, you did too. That's a lie. Or I don't even know what he said. Or whatever. You know, he's like acting like a little kid, a petulant child here. You did too. It's like you're fighting with a toddler. I've never seen anything like this.
Okay. That's a blatant experience.
So he's screaming and yelling about how everyone put this on him, but he's the one that told people they had to follow his rules, but he didn't give them any rules, and said that he's the only one that got to go from house to house to house, and he's mad as hell because everyone's putting this on him. Okay. And then he says that he got COVID and it was a near-death experience. Meanwhile, Janelle looks like she's trying to get her bag and go because she's like, I'm out of here. And then meanwhile, Robyn is trying to get into the middle of it and mediate or try to settle things down, or maybe enable Kody. I'm not sure. But then Kody says that him getting COVID was a near-death experience. I just want to tell you something. I have had a child on life support, and that was literally on a ventilator that's been on a vent multiple times. And that, what he went through, where he didn't even have to go to the doctor or the hospital, was not a near-death experience. He never needed oxygen. He never needed medications. He never had heart attack. He didn't have a blood clot. He didn't even die. No, that wasn't a near-death experience. He got the version that most of us got, and it was a horrible, horrible, illness. I was sick with it. It hurt my back. I had a fever. I felt like crap, but I would never classify that as a near-death experience. He's just being over dramatic. And if he thinks that that's what a near-death experience is like, I would encourage him to go to a hospital and see what someone looks like on critical care in the ICU near the end of their life. It isn't Kody filming from a phone, complaining about how he can't sleep. Ugh. Okay. What if my little ones would have been where I was or she was? You mean at home, in your bedroom, filming from your phone and telling us about how you can't breathe, even though you're literally breathing and you're coughing, and telling us about how you have a fever and you can't sleep? Kids get sick all the time, and we learned with this illness that kids actually are more resilient and they didn't get as sick as adults. And what if my kids would have been like us? They would have been at home, in bed, like you. They didn't die. You didn't die. You weren't in the hospital. Neither one of you were ever admitted to the hospital. Neither one of you were on life support. Neither one of you were on ventilators. Neither one of you were beyond the mild version, and the mild version was what they had. It's the more severe stuff that was actually when you go into the hospital. I mean, in the mild version wasn't fun. I had it, and I was vaccinated. He's not.
Only what? What was it, 3 weeks? I was trying to protect him, and I got criticism from you.
This is actually violent posturing. Okay, so when I was going through therapy years ago, I didn't understand like the wheels of DV, and I didn't understand the nonverbal cues that men like Kody do to women like me or Janelle to intimidate them and to put fear into them. And one thing that they can do is like punch a hole in the wall, or they can like punch their hands, because it's like a aggressive strike that shows you that they're angry, and it's almost like a sign to you like this is what could happen to you. And so when he did that, I immediately went back in my mind to the therapy I went through, and I was like, wow, that's like following the wheel of DV that I was given to by my therapist. And what he's doing is showing her that he's the one in control, and that hand could be her. And it's scary. And he's screaming at her, and his posture, and he's standing up, and he's back, and he's forth, and he's telling her that he didn't know when he was trying to save her. And he's got this savior complex where he thinks that everything he's doing is saving people. I was trying to save Truly. I didn't know that they wouldn't get sick. And you criticized me. How dare someone criticize you, Kody? Can you imagine getting this angry because someone criticized you? Can you imagine after everything that he has said about these women? And then this is how he's reacting, and Janelle's just sitting there without a word coming out of her mouth. Because if she were to try to engage with him at this point, it would go nowhere. Because a narcissist this escalated and a DV person this escalated it goes nowhere.
Intense.
He's punching his hand. He's posturing at her. He's screaming. He's putting hands in her face, and she's not responding. He's saying that he's been persecuted. This is not religion, and nobody's persecuting you. God, he is always the victim. He got criticized. Imagine getting this mad because you were criticized. And then he's like, Christine left because of this. That's not true. She did not leave because of your stupid rules. She left because of everything that was going on in your relationship. He doesn't want to recognize that he told her that he didn't want to have an intimate marriage with her. He was okay just being friends, that they didn't have to have any intimacy, or that he didn't really love her. He wasn't attracted to her. He's instead blaming COVID. COVID is like the red herring. It's the literal red herring. It's just a distraction by him so that he doesn't have to deal with the responsibility of his flaws. So he's going to yell at everyone else to get them, like, to make them the bad guys. So because Janelle and her boys criticized them and Christine left and he's being persecuted and all he was trying to do was protect the family. And in the meanwhile, he's not yelling at Robyn. He's not yelling at Mary. And then Robyn's like, yeah, let's keep talking, even if it's intense like this. So Robyn's basically co-signing and saying, yes, please continue to do this verbal abuse towards Janelle. It's great.
I'm sorry. I just went
You and I
through
see
this.
it very differently. Everybody else.
Narcissists like Kody cannot do anything unless their flying monkeys are there to support their narrative. And because Janelle would not support his narrative that they were all going to die if they didn't follow his rules. And mind you, Kody only adheres to rules that benefit him, because when it didn't benefit him, he didn't follow the rules, and he broke rules for friends, and he traveled to gun shows, and he went out to dinner with Robyn, and he went shopping with Robyn. He wasn't following the rules as much as they'd like you to believe. So when she says it's not my fault, you're trying to blame me, and he's like, I just wanted to have backup. And like I've said a million times, she has adult children. She can't force them to do anything. They're adults. So she's saying, I'm walking a fine line between my adult children and you and everyone else. You can't force a kid that's an adult to do things, period. They also had nowhere to go because it was a pandemic, and Kody wants her to be to blame. It's like, it's honestly, she's mad. She's very mad, and you can tell.
I was following all the CDC. I don't need to be beaten into submission, made to kowtow.
So Janelle tells him that she's following all the CDC guidelines, and a lot of you have asked, are they vaccinated? She just told you. Janelle is vaccinated. By this period of time, vaccines were available, and for individuals that fell into categories that were more high risk, and Janelle might have been in an earlier category that had higher risk of like having the more debilitating form of COVID, you could actually get your vaccines well before other people. And so she could have been within that group that got him first. I was partially almost all the way vaccinated by this point that they're arguing. So she says she's vaccinated. Kody, by the way, has never gotten vaccinated. He made this whole big stink about the whole thing, and he never got vaccinated. It makes you wonder how much he really cared about the situation. If you're so paranoid about this virus, why wouldn't you go get the vaccine? He spent all this time trying to be super cautious, and the most cautious thing he could have done in this situation was getting the vaccine. And I don't want to have any arguments about the vaccine. Please don't put any comments about it. I'm not interested. I'm just saying in Kody's situation, that would have been the logical thing to do. So she's not going to be beaten into submission, which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to intimidate her, like I said, until she folds. And she says, I'm not going to do that. I don't have to stay here and listen.
I'm just not. I just don't need this.
So I don't know how this ends. We know that she walks off, and I don't know, this sounds, again, like a soundbite that makes it seem like she's debating leaving, which, again, we don't know if that's the case. But she said, for the past 18 months, I've been doing pretty good on my own, and I'm pretty independent, and I don't need this. I don't need to stand here and wait and listen to me and be yelled at. I don't deserve it. No, you don't. Queen, you don't deserve it. No woman deserves to be yelled at like that. And you don't have to stay in a situation where a man is punching his hands, posturing at you in a violent way, screaming at you, and has his minion wife telling you, let's keep this going, even if it's intense. Does anyone get the sense that maybe Robyn has some sort of sadistic pleasure in watching Kody berate other wives? How is this conversation helping anyone? It's not. It's literally it's like a circus. It's a carousel. It's the same argument. He's had the same argument for the last 6 months. And when one doesn't work, he goes on to the next. And that's what they do. Like narcissists, they just keep moving the goalposts when one argument doesn't work. I hope this is the beginning of Janelle waking up. I hope she realizes and is honest when she says, I don't deserve this. I'm good on my own. I'm independent. I hope that's the truth, because what Kody shows here is disgusting. And I don't know how much longer fans are going to tune in if this is what continues to happen. And if it remains Kody and Robyn basically bullying everyone. I think they're going to lose support. I hope they're considering a spinoff. I think I would watch that. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.